Behind me is the new Nissan Z. Now we'll jump right into it. You're gonna have a 3-liter turbocharged V6 from the Infiniti Q60 under the hood, making 400 horsepower and 350 pound-feet of torque, which is a big jump over the previous car, which wasn't exactly a slouch either. Now, this engine was retuned from the Infiniti. It's not just a direct carryover. The platform was also retuned. It's still from the 370Z though. It's not an entirely new ground-up car. Another thing that was a carryover that I'm actually personally happy about is the 6-speed manual transmission. It's still the same unit from the 370Z. However, you do have a new 9-speed automatic transmission available as well,
which has launch control standard. We see redesigned synchros for the first 2 gears of the 6-speed, but the ratios remain unchanged. There's a new carbon fiber composite drive shaft for manual transponders, and just like more recent year 370Zs, Exity makes the clutch. Active rev matching and launch control are standard on the manual performance trim.
Now you'll just have 2 trims here, but there's a big difference between the two. You have the Sport and the Performance. The model here next to me and the one that you've been seeing in all of these press releases is the Performance. Now the major highlights that you'll see here are going to be bigger wheels. You'll have 19-inch wheels here versus the 18s. You'll have better brakes. You'll have a Performance track-tuned suspension along with a limited slip differential as standard with the Performance trim. Now this is going to start around the $40,000 range. To protect your investment, you have standard parking sensors. The color I have next to me looks great in person, and really the car does too. This is the Boulder Gray Metallic, but more importantly, I really like the proportions of this thing. It reminds me more of a muscle car than the Miata does, even though the front end does give me Miata vibes. The silhouette is very traditional, but looks are all subjective, so tell me what you guys think in the comment section. But in person, this definitely looks better than it does over video and photo, so a little disclaimer there. This is probably my favorite angle of the Nissan Z, and just like the 350Z from now 20 years ago, you have little brushed aluminum touches.
Plus, performance buyers get some ground effects in the front and the spoiler. I also have to give a huge nod to these tailpipes.
Now hopping inside the new 23Z, it's very vaguely reminiscent of the 350Z that I drove last year. You kind of still have the cockpit feel where everything kind of is leading up towards the front of the cabin, and I really enjoy this. But I'll skip to the chase here. The 6-speed manual has a really nice throw to it. I'm just really glad that it's got a nice positive feedback to it. Of course, things could change when we actually finally get to drive it, but I want to give you as much information as I can. The clutch pedal here also has a really good weighting to it, and both the clutch and the shifter are not long by any means, but they have enough distance in them to really give you the most satisfying feel. Now if you're wondering, performance trim buyers will get this 2-tone look with the leather and Alcantara. Plus, if you want to bump in your Z, you have a Bose system here on the Performance as well.
Base buyers get 6 speakers and an 8-inch touchscreen, whereas performance models get 9 inches. And the seats become heated. All cars have a digital cluster and Apple CarPlay Android Auto.
It seems pretty comfortable. I love that they retained the gauges here and even added a boost pressure gauge, which obviously you gotta take advantage of that with the turbo. But yeah, there's a lot of potential here, and it feels like a more expensive cabin because it's become a more expensive car. This should be hitting dealers here in the spring, and I cannot wait to get my hands on one. It seems very promising. If you're wondering about the cargo area, it exists. It's shallow, but since this is a hatch, I mean, you can fit a few larger things in here that you might not be able to cram into a Miata. Overall, inside and out, I really like the features and the aesthetics. But let me know what you guys think. Is this enough for you? Tell me in the comment section. Thanks for watching.